Hello, my name is Jackson Heil, and this is my C4 podcast for Wrd110. Wrd110 was an excellent class to have as one of my first college credits. I learned a lot about myself, my writing process, and my interpretation skills. Each of the essays, in-class assignments, and the introductory short speech all benefited myself in the way I learn, as well as the way I convey my knowledge to others, as well as, and more importantly, made way for my flaws to come through. Throughout this class, I succeeded some, and I failed even more. I am the type to learn from my mistakes, and from that, every piece of feedback would be an improvement for my next paper. Starting with the introductory short speech, I was pushed out of my comfort zone in order to talk about a personal aspect of my life in front of my peers that I had previously had no communication with. This taught me about myself because it was so much harder to present when forced out of my comfort zone. I learned I'm not as good as winging it as I thought. As the class went on, I took this into consideration, so I better prepared myself to turn in assignments way before, so I have them done, and the work I turn in is quality, and not something I pulled out of a hat within a few hours. This also improved one of my strengths, speaking. I would not consider the speeches public speaking, although it is pretty close. I feel as if I am a good public speaker. Throughout my life, I have been put in a position to speak in front of people I may not know or I may not be comfortable around. This assignment was quite different. It was a different feeling to present in front of people and this was my first real impression on the group of people. This put an extra level of stress on the assignment, and I feel like I did the best that I could. The C1 essay was an assignment that made me a better learner, made me more self-aware, and more importantly, I learned something new about myself. The assignment was based off of a decision that you've made in your life, and this decision was my decision to play sports. Beginning the project, I had no idea what I was going to realize about myself. This developed and strengthened my ability to be self-aware and learn about myself. I struggled to write this paper because starting out, I could not understand the significance of my own decisions. As I started writing it all became clear to me, and how this decision changed my life. I've always struggled with simple essays like this, but all in all, I do feel like it made me a better writer and person out of it. I learned things about myself, and I learned things about writing. It changed the process of how I write because I had never written anything else like this before, and I have begun to add a step in my writing process to help with brainstorming. The C2 essay was the analysis essay and I was really expecting this analysis essay to be analyzing a text. Upon learning we were actually analyzing a building as opposed to a text, I was a little bit skeptical. This was the first assignment in my life like that, and I've had assignments where I was analyzing a book or something like that. So I ended up choosing the space Whitehall Classroom 106. I was able to notice how a space has an effect on people that utilize the space. This assignment really showed my weakness in my inability to pay attention to detail and caused me to realize things I hadn't noticed after sitting in that classroom at least 3 times a week. It also showed one of my strengths to come through because of how I utilize my interviews and use other people's opinions to support my argument. The C3 speech was a real challenge because it caused me to recognize my writing as well as my learning process in the C2 analysis essay. The speech, similar to the introduction speech, added the extra level to the project with stress. It included a presenting part, but also caused for you to memorize your script and not forget them in front of the class. My weakness in this scenario actually made my strength to come through. My weakness was that I indeed did forget the words on my script, and my strength was making stuff up on the fly that made sense to fill the time. All in all, this class was an excellent learning experience, and I'm looking forward to everything else I will learn in Wrd111. Thank you.